Today, to start off the cooking demonstrations, we are going to be cooking rye bay chowder with rye bay scallops. Now this dish has been following me around for about 5-6 years now, only since I moved to Rye and renamed it the rye bay chowder. It seems to almost sort of become famous now, so I think it's a great dish to start with. We'll be using mussels, scallops, clams, lovely smoked mackerel, beautiful in-season vegetables, and it'll all sit on a nice fish cream broth with fresh coriander, spring onions. A really nice, easy dish to cook at home as well. Okay, so welcome inside to the Mermaid kitchen. As we said, today we're going to cook the rye bay chowder with rye bay scallops. I'm just going to take you through the ingredients and what we need. Obviously, we've got some fresh, straight in this morning, rye bay scallops. Okay, you won't usually see them in the supermarket like this, but this is how they come in. I'll show you how to get them out. Some fresh mussels, fresh clams. We're using just one normal baking potato, some fresh garden peas, garlic, onions, carrots, coriander and spring onions. We're going to be making a lovely broth base out of fish stock and cream, and the whole thing will just sit in a bowl with the scallops on top. It's really simple, so let's start. Okay, so first of all what we need to do is we need to get the carrots and the potatoes cooking, so we're just going to prep these quickly. Okay, now obviously here in the restaurant we cut it all uniformed, but you really, if I'm cooking this at home, you don't need to have it all uniformed, just cut it up rough. I'm going to cut it into a nice dice, but you really don't need, you really don't need to do that when you're cooking at home. It's really nice to have it rough, rustic. Okay, same with the potato, I'm going to cut it quite nicely, but you don't need to. Okay, so now once you've got all the vegetables chopped up, just let them cook about halfway in some hot water. I'm going to take them off the board, drop them into the water, drop them over the back, and just let them cook away nicely. Okay, so now for the star of the show, the scallop. Now the scallop has an arch side and a flat side. The scallop inside is attached to this side here, and the back side as well. So what we want to do, be very careful. You can get your fishmonger to do this, which is probably the best way, but if you want to have a go at doing it yourself, make sure you've got a cloth so you don't stab yourself. There's a mussel in the back, give it a little, run the knife down the flat side, and there's the scallop there. Okay, this is its skirt. What a lot of people don't know is the scallop has eyes in here. The scallop can see, it sees in sort of shades and shadows, doesn't see like you and I, but none of this is really any good to us, so we're just going to get behind the scallop, okay, and just throw that down there. There is a bin down there. I don't want you to think it's good to throw food all around your kitchen. Alright, so... Okay, so we're going to take the skirt off. Okay, and that runs round the scallop. There's a mussel in here, which you just need to pinch and push. Take all the membrane off. Be very careful not to rip or tear the scallop. Okay, and the scallop will come off in your hand like this. Okay, now the scallop is like a sponge. We do need to wash this, but if we wash it and leave it submerged in water, what will happen is it will soak up all the water and dilute the flavour. So a really quick rinse into some cold water. Okay, and that's all really you need. And then just let it dry out on a cloth. Now the roe is on here. You can eat this orange piece, there's nothing wrong with it. But we choose to do something a little bit different here at the Mermaid. We dry them out and in a dehydrator and grind them into a powder and use them to season the fish. And I'll show you that powder a little bit later. So get rid of that into the bin, not on the floor. Okay, and it's 15 years of blood, sweat and tears so I can stand in front of this camera and say, here's some I made earlier. Okay, so we've got the scallops all clean, all dry. Okay, and we can just set them to one side while we start working on the sauce of the chowder, really. So take a saucepan, obviously depending on how many people you're cooking for. We will publish recipes for all of these on our website, so just keep a lookout for them. Okay, when cutting the onion, always keep this root piece on. This holds the whole onion together because we want to chop this quite finely. Okay, so just all the way down, but not all the way through to the back. Okay, and then just chop it down. I'd say about 1/4 of an onion is probably enough for what we're doing today. A little bit of vegetable oil in the pan. We're just going to brown these onions off a little bit. You don't want to brown them too much because the sauce is going to be white. Okay, and if we get too much colour on them, they're going to make our sauce go a beige colour. So, you know, you want a little bit of colour, but not too much. Want a clove of garlic in there as well. Now, there's hundreds of ways. People say soak the garlic in water, do this, do that. Just get a knife, give it a good whack. Okay, and it just comes straight off. Okay, just take the end bit off. That's hard. You don't want that. And then just roughly chop the garlic. Okay, and just so we can get this a little bit finer, I'm going to put a little bit of rock salt into the garlic, and this will help smash it up. We're just going to run the knife down and it makes a lovely garlic puree. Okay, can add a little bit more oil into that. Okay, we're starting to get a nice bit of colour on the onions now, but that's about as far as we really want to take it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add some red wine. Okay, we want to reduce the red wine. Okay, about half a glass should do the job. Okay, you want to reduce the wine. If you don't reduce the wine, the alcohol will go bitter and you'll just taste raw wine and it will just ruin the whole thing. Okay, so wait for the white wine, not red wine, sorry, to reduce by about half, so we've got a little bit like that. Okay, and now we're going to add really the main secret agent to this dish, and it's the smoked mackerel. Okay, this just puts a really nice underlying smoky flavour through the chowder. So with the mackerel in, we're just going to add a little fish stock. Okay, this fish stock we make here using fish bones. If you want to use a stock cube or a stock pot, I would suggest. The stock pots are a lot better than the cubes. They're not as salty, and you'll get a better end result out of that. Okay, so that's just cooking down. Okay, let that reduce. Okay, now we're going to take the carrots and the potatoes. Okay, and we're just going to drain off the water and just add them to the fish stock, wine and mackerel. Okay, and now it's time to add the mussels and the clams. One thing that's really important with mussels, like this little guy here, this mussel is open. And when I tap him on the table, he's shut. Okay, this means he's still alive, okay? It's really, really important. If the mussel doesn't close, then you need to throw it away. It means it's dead, you don't know how long it's been dead for, and it can make you quite ill. So always remember, if the mussels are open, just give him a little tap, make sure he's still alive. If he isn't, he goes in the bin. Okay, a few mussels in there. Some clams. Okay, and then we're going to add some cream. Okay, this is double cream. You're not going to lose any weight eating this. Make sure you're not making this when the Weight Watchers lady comes round. Alright? But it does taste amazing, so we'll let you can get away with it. Okay, so while that's just cooking down, we're going to wait for the mussels to open and all the clams to open. We're going to start cooking the scallops. Okay, really, really, really important, the scallops, is the pan. The pan must be hot. Okay, like I said before, they are like sponges, they hold a lot of liquid. Okay, and what we need to do is we need to seal that inside and don't let it go into the pan. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to season them, and I'm going to show you a little trick so seasoning becomes a little bit easy. Make sure you leave a little space in between the scallops. Okay, season the plate and the scallop. The plate and the scallop. Do the same with the pepper. Okay. Okay, make sure you're getting it on the plate. Okay, this is the powder that we make from the roe. Okay, so we turn this into this. Okay, this is a really, really strong fishy flavour, and it enhances any fish we cook with, and we season all our fish with it here. It makes a big, big difference. Okay, so instead of having to turn it all over, all you've got to do is just move the scallops forward. And that's both sides done. Really simple. Saves a lot of messing around. Okay, nice hot pan. Okay, we're just going to take the scallops to the pan. Start at 12 o'clock and work your way round. The reason for that is so we know that at 12 o'clock that one needs to be turned over first, and then we just work round the clock and they all get cooked equally. Okay, let the scallops just cook there. The mussels are starting to open now. I'm just going to add a handful of peas. Now these are fresh, not frozen, not cooked then frozen. They're fresh. We've popped them out of the pod ourselves. They're crunchy. They're beautiful green colour. Got a really nice bite to them. Okay, and these do have to go in at the end because you want to taste that crunch. It adds another little sort of dimension, texture to the dish. So we're just going to put some peas in there. Okay, this is cooking down lovely now. Okay, just turn the scallops over. And that's exactly what you're looking for. That colour there. Golden brown. What's happened is all the natural sugars in the scallop have caramelised. We've locked in all that flavour, all that moisture. And now we're going to add a nice knob of butter, and again this will enhance flavour as the butter starts to turn. You don't want to burn the butter, you just want to sort of get it to that nutty, just so it starts to go dark, and just let that butter go all around. Really, really adds great flavour. Okay, so we're pretty much there now. We're just going to finish the dish. We're going to finish the chowder with some fresh spring onions. These go into the bin, not your kitchen floor. Okay, just freshly chopped spring onions. Just the tops really. As it goes down, the bottoms get a little bit too strong, and that can overpower whatever you're trying to cook, alright? Fresh coriander. cut it nice and rough. Okay, and now I think we're ready to plate this little fella up. Turn this again. There you go. That's what we're looking for. That beautiful, beautiful colour. Really easy to plate up. You can just smell that coriander now, really coming through, really fishy. The mussels are cooked beautifully. And as you can see, you can make a big load of this for your family, and it wouldn't take much to serve it up at all, really. You just pop the scallops in the top. Okay. Any way you like. Just going to finish this with a little bit more coriander. And just, this is truffle oil. I like to use this. It's a bit of an acquired taste. It does complement the scallops quite nicely, but it's entirely up to you. You can just finish it with a little bit of cracked black pepper, and that's it. That's the Rye Bay scallops with shellfish and smoked mackerel chowder.